Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined by some merry misfit cohorts of mine. We have the drunk to my left, which is everyone's favorite teacher of the Kirby variety.
Glug, glug, glug. Merry Christmas.
Then we have everyone's favorite bartender, Artie.
So, what would you have? Sarsaparilla, milk,
And then
water?
we have a resident guest on the channel and everything. That is our resident Timberwolf in the ugly Christmas sweater.
Hey, I was told there would be spiked punch. That's why I wore the sweater. How's it going, guys?
The Paladin Protector joined the server.
And I might want to turn those phonetics off before that gets me into further trouble. I almost forgot to do that. Woo! Yeah, that, I'm glad it was who it was that connected and not somebody else.
You know.
Steve, but, you know. So,
Or one of us changed channel, yeah.
yeah. So, we don't really have a lot of articles to get through this week, folks, but we do have a few. So, starting off, what we do have is our communications tower for the Xbox One and the colonies on the console. I can't words.
Can't work tonight. Do we need to reboot you?
I'm starting to wonder. But, anyways, following the events of Mirrors and Smoke, the Lucari and Kentari began efforts to work together. And that also culminates in our communications tower. Now, they included one of the little before and after slide thingies, so you can kind of see what it looks like before, the area where it's going to be at, and then you can actually see where the tower is going to be and what it's going to look like. But, yeah, comments from our panel this evening.
Just looking at it, I keep on realizing that due to these articles, I'm still surprised how close the console guys are to the actual PC, you know. They're almost like right up on top of us, you know, in the story and content.
Yeah, they are. And yet another finishing touch added to the colonies before we build our walls.
Yep.
It's one of those little...
Yeah, week 47. My people are still living outside the colony.
Yeah, not
We have our comms tower up.
But, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as this one goes. I mean, you can see the before and the after. You can kind of see what you're in for. Everything. If you're somebody that's a completionist, words, and you like sprucing up your colony, this is something you might want to consider. But, moving along, we have a Marks weekend for PC.
Yes, so, and as with all Marks weekend, the Marks bonus, or Marks, you earn bonus marks by playing content throughout the game. So, during the event, content that provides fleet marks and reputation marks will be boosted to 1.5 times bonus, so like time and a half. So if you normally get 100, now you get 150. From observations, this does affect the winter epos when you turn them in. I got 150 out of one that's supposed to give 100 today. So this should be affecting the winter epos. So yay! So there you go. Marks bonus. Play those things now.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's, apparently from how badly we're stumbling over words, apparently Artie's overserved everybody at the bar already.
Yes.
Yes.
Speak for yourselves. I'm the designated flyer.
I see what he did there. I see what he did there.
Yes, I did.
I'm just having soda. I know better.
Yeah, sure you do. So, like, is this like Romulan ale flavored soda, or
Nope.
just asking?
Regular Dr. Pepper right now.
I've had a bunch of eggnog.
Well, that explains her problem.
The good stuff.
But, yeah, definitely check out those various Marks farming spots, folks. One of my personal favorites, especially on weekends like this, is the Dyson Ground Battle Zone. You can farm out a lot of Marks, build those up for dilithium. And, yeah, not really a whole lot to say about that, but we will have this in our notes for you guys to check out. Speaking of notes, we have our console patch notes for the 14th.
Yep. Alright, so starting off in the general section, the console guys are now getting the winter event. This gives them, it resolved an issue where the wrong green ship was being displayed in the 2017 Winter Ornament and Event project, which that's a small thing. Resolved an issue where the Fleet Starbase had the wrong 2017 Winter Ornament for 2017. Added tracking to the new Winter Accolade to track presents which are open.
See what I mean, folks? See what I mean?
Alright, we all need a restart.
I don't hear anything wrong.
Alright, added competitive marks to the mark choice packages like like in the Epo, Trade, and Mark choice packs.
Which
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, I'm glad of that because for competitive marks, and I can say this from experience, the average time of maybe getting a competitive PvE going is maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 days if you're trying to do pug runs. So to have a source for, the Epos being able to get those marks and the bonuses is a good thing. Because if you can't get, Core Assault and Twin Tribulations and all that going, your best bet is your daily bonus and standard maybe 10 to 15 marks from your red alerts. And that's your best bet. So having them added to the Epos is actually going to help, because otherwise, pretty much, that's a reputation most people will not be able to get anything from.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've always, I personally enjoyed the competitive war game stuff, but as I know, a lot of people don't because they don't like PvP. But that's how it works. Yeah, this is the easiest way now, I would have to say. Alright, moving on. Resolved an issue where the Krempfiri waypoint would remain after he was defeated. Resolved an issue preventing Cherry and Wild Cherry Epos from being turned in for marks, which that hurts. No, I'm glad they fixed that.
Yes.
And I think this is kind of like a repeat of what I said above. Competitive wargame marks can now be obtained from the Epo exchange. Alright, resolved an issue that could cause a crash in the game if one second. Resolved an issue that could cause a crash if the game sat idle for a couple of hours. Well, you shouldn't be sitting idle for a couple of hours, should you?
It should kick you after 60 minutes.
Yeah. Someone's cheating the system. Alright. The Special Requisition Choice Pack, Tier 6 Promotional Ship Choice Pack, no longer has a level restriction. That's good.
Unless you're me, then it flips you the bird.
Everyone remember this. Point it out to him every time you see him. Alright, resolved an issue where the new black mechlith from the winter event may be invisible. Which, yeah. It's just scary because, imagine the enemy. Yeah. What is he hitting us with? I don't know, I don't see it.
A wild boss man has appeared.
Man.
Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Would you like to join our Christmas party at the bar on my colony?
I guess I can log in.
What she's not telling you is Artie's already overserved every one of the
I'm
hosts.
already dancing on
including
the tables.
myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm already dancing on the bar, and yeah, we're slurring words. It's just
Pretty
They're
sad.
speaking for themselves.
Well, I
September.
noticed that Artie needs to get a reboot already. So,
yes. But Timber is the designated flyer, and he's wearing an ugly sweater.
That's right.
So there you go, got you.
This is the sound of me hitting my head on my desk.
Funny thing is, I could actually hear that.
So could I.
Likewise.
Okay.
Go on and continue before we get too far out of line
Yes,
here.
where were we?
Okay, starting off on systems on the 14th console patch notes. Resolved an issue that was preventing Brain Raider carrier pets from becoming available after players obtained the Plush Trawl Heavy Raider Tier 6. Alright, that's good that they fixed that. Resolved an issue that was preventing the Denkethi Thenstar Dreadnought Carrier Tier 6 hull capacity, shield capacity, flight speed, and turn rate from being affected by skills. These could still be directly improved via item, trait, abilities, and etc., but were not accepting skill-based bonuses. Which, that hurts. I'm glad they fixed that. Alright, resolved an UI issue that showed the Dreadnought getting plus energy res and plus rad res at rank 3. It now correctly displays that it gets plus damage at rank 3. This is only a display / text fix. The ship was granted the correct bonus. Any questions? Comments?
No?
I wish my promo pack had updated with the rest of them and wasn't still flipping me the bird.
Oh, you and that promo pack. I think they're just gonna have to take the promo pack from your low-level character and give it to another character.
I mean, at this point,
I think they're just gonna have to do that.
at this point, more than
You
likely,
get
I'm going to have to
customer
level the
service, too.
character. I'm either going to have to
I
level the
told you you'd
character.
have to do that.
Well, see, I'm either going to have to. I think this bears a little bit of explanation for the viewers out there. So basically, what happened is I got a promo pack, one of the new ones from the promotion. So yay! But I noticed it had the level restriction and everything. And I opened it on a low-level character that I opened all my stuff on. I didn't think anything of it until I opened it and noticed they had the restriction. Well, whatever they were supposed to have done, the little server blip, interrupt thing, whatever you want to call it, to fix this, my pack didn't update, and now I can't get it to open for crap. So yeah, I'm either going to have to level the character or have a chat with customer service, and I get the feeling it's going to end up being the first one.
I mean, aren't you supposed to level your character? You're not supposed to just, use them as, bank slaves, right?
Oh yeah, that's what he is. He's a bank slave.
I know he is. That's what I'm saying. You should level him up.
Does it surprise you that he's a Ferengi?
No.
So yeah, that's pretty much my comment on the patch notes. But, moving right along, we have the Colony Borgy. I wonder where I've seen this before.
Wait, whose turn is it? Is it Timber's turn?
What? Oh, I've
It's
got
your turn
paperwork?
to do the article. Yes.
Yeah, she got stuff
Yes.
to do, man. You gonna join the show? You gonna do stuff?
Exactly.
I'm the
was
one that
thinking about
gets
it.
exempt from it.
I hadn't had to do it in a while. Okay, so there's really not much about the bar. You just open, it's a new special project. It's towards the rear of your colony, so you see where the waterfall is. It's in this back area, and my irritation is I don't see the bartender, which means it's not really a bar. It's just a table with a whole bunch of bottles behind it.
The bartender is a separate unlock from your fleet when you get to one of the tiers in the colony world. You can do a project that unlocks the bartender.
It's starting to seem more like a restaurant game where, let me build the bar. Okay, now I gotta build a restaurant. I gotta hire the bartender and the chef. And oh wait, I gotta buy the drinks. And here's the filet mignon. That's just me nitpicking. It's fun to have one of these things. It's good for a social zone. It's gonna give people like Artie, let's go down to the bar, and gives them another social zone, even though it's not a social zone, I guess.
Right.
It's another place where they can continue their stories and things of that nature. Little place let's go meet down at the bar, and that's where we can have our fleet meeting. Those kind of things. So, it's just something simple they added in. And it looks nice. It's all flashy.
Okay.
Also, to answer
So-
Kirby's question, you have to get Colony Morale Tier 2 to get the
Yeah, I
bartender.
I just looked it up.
Oh.
So once you finish Morale Tier 2, under new construction projects, so it will be one that is listed as an upgrade once you finish the Morale Tier 2. And that would be the bartender, but you have to have the bar built first, which now my fleet does, at least, which a few fleets do. It costs approximately 150,000 dill, depending on discounts of your fleet and discounts you get based on your level in the Armada. And your Armada, of course. So, but yeah, it's this is the bar. So there you go. Anything else, folks?
No, seemed full coverage.
There you go. I think Artie's a good bartender.
Thank you.
Hey, lets me have all the Romulan ale I want.
Can I have another eggnog?
Yeah, sure.
You know, I'm pretty sure that Kirby's already about, 3 bottles of eggnog in?
4. When did you stop counting?
Oh, good lord.
I usually don't put number of bottles to my customers. It's not like it's a race or anything, right?
It's not number of cups, folks. It's number of bottles that's been gone through.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know. Anyway.
It's
Okay,
the
where were
most drunk time of the year. So yeah, that about,
Where were
that actually covers our 4 articles this evening, but
we? Yes, it does.
yeah, moving along to our budget build. This time around, we went with a mid-range version of our Miracle Worker tactical cruiser. Everything, thank God they finally have these things in the builder. Like, seriously, that's a good thing. So, last week we looked at a Polaron-based tactical Miracle Worker cruiser. And we've basically taken this now to the mid-range version. A mid-range budget, we typically assume 30 million EC to work with as far as an EC budget. We also assume you have enough dilithium to take a single item up to epic quality. And for this go-around, the weapon that we took to epic is actually our chronometric Polaron beam array that we have on the front of the ship. And for our weapons, we have 3 of the Dominion Polaron beams up front, as well as our chronometric. In the rear, we have 3 more of our Dominion Polarons, and then we have our chronometric Polaron Omni. Chronometric weapons come from the Time and Tide mission. Then for our shields, our engines, our deflector, and warp core, we have the Jem'Hadar set, which is a very, very good set for Polaron. You also get a lot of drain expertise from this set as well, especially that deflector. Then because the set does not have a warp core, we have to pick one up, and the one that we picked up is the Temporal Phase Overcharged core. This is pretty much a stable warp core in our builds here on the show. And reason being is it's very tough to beat this warp core on the free end. Reason being is you get a warp core capacitor that cuts your bridge officer cooldowns in half for the duration that it is active. It's essentially a temporal negotiator for those of you that were here for the Delta recruitment event some years ago. Plus you also get some other nice benefits and stuff from the Jem'Hadar set as well, so pretty good set there. For our engineering consoles, we have our piezoelectric focuser from the Locale reputation, which is basically a field generator, a Polaron tactical console, and an RCS slammed into one thing. You get a pretty nice Polaron boost from it, as well as a shield percentage boost and a turn rate boost. So, an all-around great universal console to have. Then we have our Crimson Force Field, which actually comes with the ship. I'm sure some of our diehard Trek fans will recognize the reference that they made with this console, which I'm actually kind of surprised that they did. But this is a reference to the Packlid episode where Geordi was captured by the Packlids. And it's actually a good console in-game. It basically is an AoE effect similar to the Warp Bubble, except this is a cone-based effect in the form of a console. Essentially, you can group them up and it will cut their turn rate and their damage by a fair chunk while the effect is active. Then you have your assimilated module from the Omega Reputation. This is for our free crit chance and severity. Then we also have our 0-point conduit. This gives a bit of critical chance, and I believe this one gave a bit of drain expertise too, if I'm not mistaken.
Drain X and all power levels.
Thank you, sir. Then, for our science consoles, we've got 4 science slots on this. We went with 4 of our restorative particle focusers from our Crenum Science Lab. These are the Drain X ×2 varieties. These you can pick up fairly cheap. They're about 5,000 fleet credits each, and then 2,500 dilithium. So you could pick up a set of 3 of these in a single day if you wanted to. So very, very inexpensive consoles, and they give you a lot of bang for your buck. So that'll boost our drain expertise a lot higher. That'll allow us to take advantage of our Polaron proc and approach nearly a complete shutdown, as well as play nice with the science power we're going to look at in our BOF powers. For our tactical consoles, we were able to pick up some Polaron phase modulators on the cheap. These are the Polaron-specific tactical consoles that come from various sources, such as crafting. You can occasionally get lucky and get them as a random drop from a mission, but otherwise, that's about 600k worth of consoles there, so not too terribly expensive. Then the good thing about the Miracle Worker ships, and this is a new concept that came about with the Miracle Worker ships, is we actually have a universal console slot now. And the universal console slot is just like it sounds. You could slot any type of console in there. You could slot a straight universal in there if you wanted to. You could slot a tactical console. You could slot a science console. Or pretty much anything you want. It is a free console slot to do whatever the heck you want with it. In the case of this cruiser, if I wanted to, I could have a 5th science console. Or in this case, I have a 4th tactical console, and what we have is the final piece for our chronometric capacitor set. Now the chronometric capacitor set, one of the reasons we wanted to use it was for the 3-piece bonus that it can give you, which gives a bit of energy weapon damage as well as a exotic boost while it is active. So you can use that in conjunction with any other boost that you have to supercharge your science powers for a nasty science nuke on the ship. And finally, for our devices, we like to think of them as personal preference, but a device that we always like to recommend is the Subspace Field Modulator. This particular device, whenever you use it, gives a bit of defensive ability. While it is active, it gives some resistance. I think it's about 18 resistance, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And the only downside to it is it does debuff you for a minus 400 protonic damage. Now, there are a few enemies in game that do use protonic-based abilities, so it is worth making a note of the debuff there. But otherwise, other devices, you could use energy amplifiers, particle flood batteries, pretty much anything you could pick up.
And it's plus 34 all damage resistance.
Oh, it's plus 30. Okay.
For 15 seconds.
Okay, plus 34. I don't know why the heck I'm thinking of 18.
Mm-hmm.
I must
And
be
a
thinking
plus
of
15 defense rating as well.
Ooh, plus 15. I'm all kinds of screwed
again-
up this evening, I think.
But again, minus 400 proton damage
Yeah.
resistance, so watch that.
So yeah, it's actually a little better than what I was thinking. I don't know where I'm getting the 18 from. But anyways, moving along to our skills. For our skills, we do... This is kind of a universal setup that we've been working with. And this is also a setup that I've also used myself and can vouch for it, have found good success with. In our first tier, we have 2 points into hull and shield capacity each. We also have 1 point into shield and hull restoration each to get a bit of extra healing out of it. 3 points into our energy weapon training to max that out for free damage. We have improved EPS flow, 2 points into it. Then we have 1 point into impulse expertise. We've also picked up 2 points in control and drain expertise each. This plays nice with our science powers, as well as our Polaron Drain. We've also maxed out our targeting expertise and our defensive maneuvering. This offsets some of the accuracy penalty to fall and other firing modes, as well as also making our ship harder to hit. Finally, we've picked up all 3 points in our armoring skills, like ablative hull plating and energized hull plating. This gives better damage resistance across the board. We have 2 points into our improved shield hardness. This allows us to take less damage to our shields. Then we have our weapon amplification and specialization for some free critical chance and severity from the tree itself. We have a point into the defensive and offensive subsystem tuning. This gives us free power to all of our systems. We have 2 points in our exotic particle generators, and also 3 points into our long-range targeting sensors. This allows us to offset some of the weapon drop-off from being farther away from the target, as well as, in the case of EPG, making our science powers that much nastier. Then, finally on this tier, you have your choice of either hull penetration or shield penetration. There is no right or wrong answer here, and you can actually make arguments for either one. It's just a matter of which one do you value more. Do you value getting a little bit of extra through their shields, or do you value bypassing a little bit of their armor more? As long as you have at least one of these in your tree, then you're doing pretty good. For our last 3 points, we have 1 point into warp core potential. This gives us free power across the board. Then we have a point into shield mastery and then shield absorption. This allows us a bit of extra survival to negate some critical hits once in a while and get a little bit of shield healing out of it at the same time. For our specializations, we went with a miracle worker and strategist. So this will be a heavily survival-focused ship in terms of what it can do. Take a look at our traits. And this is where we made most of the changes at. This is where a lot of our energy credits ended up getting spent. For our personal space traits, we have accurate to offset some of the accuracy penalties introduced to the various firing modes. We have beam barrage from the beam R&D crafting school. This gives us some extra damage to our beams when activating beam skills. We always like to assume you've leveled at least one crafting school, and in this case you've chosen beams. Then we have beam training for free additional beam damage, because why not? We have elusive to make our ship harder to hit. Fleet coordinator for free damage based on how many people are in your party, up to 10%, counting yourself. We have our ablative shell. This is one of our money traits that we picked up. This gives us a nice heal over time effect and some damage resistance when it does proc. I know it's saved my rear end quite a few times. And we have our Grace Under Fire career-specific trait. If you are not an engineer, but you want to use the build, then swap out your own career-specific trait in place of Grace Under Fire, and you should be very well good to go. Finally, we have Biotech Patch. This gives us a bit of extra healing to our hull. Then we have Point Blank Shot from House Peg, which increases the damage we deal to the target the closer we are, up to a certain percentage, and up to a certain distance. For Starship traits, we have the best defense. Our attack patterns gain a whole healing buff along with normal effects. We have unconventional tactics from Strategist. which gives Brace for Impact a damage boost for a short time. Then we have our redirecting arrays. While Beamfire at Will is active, any damage your starship receives will periodically extend its duration. And this actually comes with the ship itself, and this is a fairly new trait. Then the fourth trait was actually supposed to be going the extra mile. This is actually from the Miracle Worker tree. Whenever I was looking earlier, they did not have it in the builder yet, so I made a note of what it does. And it basically gives you some extra hull and shield capacity and can give you some extra healing. Is essentially what it boils down to. For space reputation, we went with advanced engines to allow the ship to turn just a little bit better. Pairs nicely with our Locale console. We have advanced targeting systems for free critical severity. Aux Power Offense for a damage boost based, almost said baked, on Aux Power.
Are you baking something over there?
Apparently I am, and everything, because I can't talk for crap today.
Take those Romulan L's.
This is the show where none of the hosts can speak, so we're...
Yeah.
It's normal show.
I think that Romulan ale should be illegal. Let's get into them, boss.
I'm gonna
This
say,
would be
well-
another one of those eggnogs.
in my defense, I'm gonna say Artie put a little something extra in that drink for me. You know, I'm gonna blame the hologram.
You know you like it.
Oh!
Oh!
Yeah, I'm not touching that. Nope, not touching that.
Nope.
Too
Nope.
far.
He's trying to get something later on with you, I think.
No, too
Timber's
far.
just sitting there face pumping.
And welcome to Pilot Review Show After Dark. Lukari edition.
Whoops.
But our final space reputation trait is actually our precision. This gives us a bit of free critical hit chance in space. Active rep, we have 4 abilities. We have our anti-time entanglement singularity. This is a nice AoE damage effect to enemies, and a nice little kick in the pants. We have our biomolecular shield generator. This is the big green ball you see people use in space that provides a bit of damage reduction as well as a bit of shield healing to yourself and to allies that are within range. Deploy sensor interference platform. This is a nice little oh crap I'm gonna die button. You smack this and it poofs up a little sensor platform. The platform will actually taunt off of you and keep enemies focused on itself until either it gets blown up, you taunt the enemies back, or the duration on the satellite runs out, whatever happens first. Finally, our quantum singularity manipulation. This is a nice power that boosts your science stats by 100 for the duration, as well as giving a temporary cloaking effect. A very nasty combination is to use this first, combo that together with your chronometric 3-piece and any other exotic buffs that you may have, then fire off one of your bridge officer powers, your gravity well, then once they're grouped up, fire off your anti-time entanglement and any other nice psi powers that you might have. But speaking of our bridge officer powers, let's go ahead and take a look at those. Now on this ship you have a Lieutenant Commander Universal, Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Commander Engineering / Miracle Worker, Ensign Engineering, and Lieutenant Science / Miracle Worker seats. For our Lieutenant Commander Universal, we made this into a Science seat, and we've picked up a Hazard Emitters 1, nice heal over time effect, purges plasma fires, such as from the Borg, very nice to have. Then we have Charged Particle Burst, a nice little drain effect that sucks away some of the shield power from the enemies, sucks away some of their shields. Then we have our Gravity Well, nice little thing to control our enemies. And this is some of the powers that play very nice off of the Science nuke built into the ship. Then, for our Lieutenant Commander Tactical, we have a Tactical Team 1, purges boarding parties, redirects our shields automatically, gives some other nice buffs. We have our Attack Pattern Beta to debuff the enemy. Then finally our Thaw 3, which allows our beams to smack most anything within range. Then for our Commander Engineering Miracle Worker seat, we have Engineering Team 1. This actually purges a few good debuffs like the Viral Matrix the Iconians use, as well as giving us some hull healing. We have a reverse shield polarity, which can recharge our shields in a pinch based off of incoming enemy fire. Then we have our narrow sensor bands 3. This actually gives a damage increase based on how close you are to an enemy up to 6 kilometers away. This also gives a plus 50 accuracy bonus as well. So this can pretty well guarantee you're going to be able to smack the living crap out of the enemy. And there was some issues with this. From what I can tell, using my own Miracle Worker ship, those issues seem to have been resolved. So this power is one that I would actually recommend now. Then for our last power, we have the Emit Unstable Warp Bubble. That should actually be a rank 3 warp bubble. They've still not fixed that for whatever reason in the builder. But that is an AoE debuff that you do to the enemy. Any enemy within 4 kilometers will essentially have their damage dealt and their flight, turn, all of those sorts of stats cut in half for the duration. I have yet to see a hard upper limit to this power actually be displayed, so as long as the enemy is in range, they're going to eat the debuff. And for our instant engineering, we have our emergency power to weapons 1. This gives us some extra power to our weapons, as well as a damage increase for a short time. Final 2 powers we have are our science team. This recharges our shields a bit, as well as purges certain debuffs, like a subnucleonic based effect, or similar science-based effects. Then finally, we have our aligned shield frequencies, which the best comparison I can give as to what this does is basically a bridge officer-based version of the rotate shield frequencies that engineers get, which is a damage reduction to shields. But overall, for our ship, we spent about 55,000 dilithium to get everything, 9.5 million EC. So you're looking at a build time of about 7 days, assuming you only have 1 tune refining dilithium each day. So overall, easy to build, should be fairly easy to fly. But any comments from the panel?
I mean, same as last time, I'd like to see a second emergency power to weapons, which we had discussed last time. But other than that, it looks pretty good.
Yep. And in case people were wondering, I remember exactly what I said last time too.
I think we had talked about taking off the reverse shield polarity.
Actually, I remember what I'd said was we could remove the warp bubble. You could shift that to polarity 3, and then you could pick up an emergency to weapons 2 if you wanted to put one in there. So if you think you've got enough survival, if you want to pick up more damage, you can pick up a second emergency power to weapons. Or if you think you need the survival, you can stick with what you've got. But what we provide with the budget builds, these are basically templates. Adjust them how you need to. This is just what we personally would do for a budget in that given situation. But that concludes our budget build for the evening. As far as the bugs go, there is a couple little things that I am actually testing outside of this. Not really too many details I can give at the moment, but yeah, not much for the Bugs Corner this week. But coming up on the Teacher's Corner, what have you got for us this week?
Well, first I'm going to say Chris.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, no, you already know about this one, but I'm saying it. I love doing this, too. So, it's kind of an old one, oldie but goodie, that's come back with the winter event. Be careful when you start your race. Look out for other people that's starting theirs as well, because occasionally you may find that you signal the race official and it starts the, the ready, set, go thing, but it doesn't transport you to the start, and then you disqualify. So be careful for that one, because bad bug, exactly, that bug, yeah.
Yes.
See, and I told you about it the other day. Chris.
You did. You did.
I did. In fact, you were in the team speak, and I was doing it. I go, Chris, I broke it right away. So,
And what they never
So-
tell you afterwards is that they usually hear me slamming my head against a wall.
Yes, what you had me doing earlier against the wall.
and you hear Poe in the background. Will you stop breaking things so that man can have some peace?
And Poe's my new
Never.
favorite person of the evening.
Okay.
But
Anyway, so. That just went out live on Twitch.
yep.
We have a recording of that.
Yes, we do.
Not that the thoughts ever crossed my mind. I mean, well, if-
No, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so that bug is back. So be careful. It seems to be triggered by two people trying to start the race at the same time. So since I've seen it happen, I've been very careful. Made sure there's nobody around, all that stuff, and I haven't seen it since. Happened to me anyway. So now, as far as Teacher's Corner, I just heard somebody's phonetic as they logged in, and you're glad that you have your phonetics off, Chris. Let me tell you.
yes, I am.
So, yeah. Anyway, so Teacher's Corner. So I did say I was going to do it during the beginning fleet guide because it is a really good source of fleet marks. And so I did an instructional Defera run this week. So myself and a few friends, myself and 4 friends. Yep. Went through and we did a Defera run, the 3 hard missions, and I give my recommendations for the best tune to take for Defera, the one that's easiest to get through everything. Give you the weapons that are best to use, the setup that works best for me, all of that, and my recommendations, and we have some fun killing Borg and earning fleet marks. Questions, comments? Have you watched it? I know
Yes.
Artie did. Yes.
It's great stuff.
But so I definitely recommend an engineer with mines and bombs, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we have some fun and show you how to do a Defera run. It's one that's a lot of people overlook, but you end up with like 240 fleet marks for 20-25 minutes of fun there.
Always nice to see more stuff about shooting Borg.
Yes. Yes, shooting Borg is always good.
But anyways, that is our Teacher's Corner for the evening. Coming up on our final segment, we have the RP Corner with Artie. And what have you got for us, dude?
Well, funny enough, also Defera. Alright, so I'm covering the Defera as a RP locale. I know a lot of people go to Defera just to fight some Borg or just to let off some steam because Borg are the easiest thing to kill when you have a TR-116B. So,
Yes.
I'm covering this as, if you want to plan an event, maybe in your fleet story, maybe a bunch of Borg have claimed another planet nearby your starbase and you need to go save a bunch of colonists or something. Well, Defera could be your answer. It's covered in Borg, you got ruins all over the place covered in Borg, you got a cityscape covered in Borg, you even got a tower covered in Borg. You see where I'm going with this?
Could it be about Borg?
Yes.
Wow.
I know, surprise.
It's
I figured that out after
supercalifragilisticextraborgadocious.
There you go.
And I figured that out after having, what, 6 bottles of eggnog?
Yes.
Give me another one there.
I thought you're on 8 now.
Maybe.
And for those of you seeing the whatever this is on the screen, this is pretty normal for this bunch.
What are you talking about? I just have the winter event dancing there.
But yeah, finishing up, as you can see through Teacher's video, there's a lot of places that you can easily, reuse as a, RP battleground for you and your team to fight some Borg off while you're saving some people, collecting some items, doing whatever you like for a RP ground map. This does lead into how you would roleplay it. I do not recommend doing a roll system, because if you are going, all right, I roll my d20, I kill that Borg, and then that Borg walks up to you and bashes you in the face, and now you're assimilated. Huh, wait a second. That's not what I said.
That didn't work.
Yeah, I would recommend this would be the playstyle where you would gear your character up with whatever you would probably use in character and beef it up a little bit. So I don't mean, oh, he would use that classic, TNG phaser rifle that you see in like First Contact or something. Yeah, that's a tier 1 common phaser. Don't use that. Use the
come
upgraded
on.
stuff.
116B.
There you go. Use that.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Use what would be, Starfleet had a bit of time of, fighting Borg, and I'm pretty sure somewhere there's a pad somewhere that says, when fighting Borg, you must always use this. Just hand this pad over to the requisitions office, and they'll immediately go, here you go. Here's a special case of Borg killing stuff. And now you don't have to worry about it again.
What about a Zephyr Cochrane shotgun?
Well, for that, I would have to say
Yes.
custom order.
Okay.
What about an infinity modulator?
That one's a little bit more tricky, but I'm pretty sure someone can write it in somehow as a special, experimental weapon. I don't know. I really don't know. It could be anything at that point. But that's just for the ground map. Your characters could be going in with your phasers or whatever. Have your character look however you want. But just to make things probably simpler for you guys to actually roleplay it, I do recommend getting like the Mako set, an adapt set, something that does have the quick reload, recharge thing for changing your so the Borg don't adapt to your weapons. That's all I'm saying. So
If you're not using the TR-116B.
if you're not exactly.
Yes.
'Cause
Because the
it- yeah.
TR-116B does not adapt. They do not adapt to it.
Yep, it goes straight through their shields and takes them out. It's great. But if you don't want to go that route, that's what I do recommend. Yeah, so don't walk over there, type in /roll, and hope for the best. It's not going to work. But that, depending on your fleet, however you like it, everyone may be different. Someone may go, yeah, go ahead and just use whatever. We just need to get the Borg out of the way, and we'll just RP the setting later after, we clear the Borg. Or, someone would go, yeah, all the Borg you see, the cityscape, the destruction all around you, even the giant Borgy thing in the center of the map, it's all there. It's real. It's right there in front of you. It's all there. Yeah, it's however you want to play it. Defera is a very modular map, I'll have to say, for an RP, usage. Because it has this little area that has preserver tech, and you can, whatever your fleet is, it can be like, yeah, all those ruins, it could be some ancient race that just lives nearby. That city, that's just some colony that you need to go save on some NPC planet number 3. I mean, it all fits. It works. Even the little, tower bit where you have to, go into a little Borg place, the shield pops up behind the door, and oh no, you're trapped. That could be its own thing too.
The temple.
Yes.
Or not the temple, sorry, power plant.
Yeah, the power plant.
Power
That's
plant.
That one.
Words. Okay.
But yeah, there you go. Any
Easy.
questions?
Can I have another eggnog?
No. Yes.
So,
Artie?
Yes,
does anybody
boss.
want to take bets that she's long since passed like a .2 on the blood alcohol level?
She is dancing on my bar.
I am.
I mean, if that's the standard of drunkenness,
Well, the boss can hold his liquor, I'm sure. He doesn't sound it.
Yes.
only on
So-
pilot review.
I'm attracting lightning strikes.
Yeah, I can see that. You're doing the ambassador Kale.
My question is, how did it go through 2 floors just to hit her?
Because she really, really pissed off Q.
Yeah, that would be it, wouldn't it?
But, anyways, we will have all of this stuff in our notes for you guys to check out. Everything. That's our final segment of the evening. Also, a shout out to our good friends over at the Temporal Armada. Very cool bunch of people. You should definitely check out their radio program. Usually have some pretty interesting stuff playing on there. So a shout out to our other good radio program friends, the Kurtang Pirate Radio. Very cool bunch of people, everything. Definitely check out their radio program also. Show those guys some love. They do a lot of good work on their programs. But if you have any requests for budget builds, please let us know. Let us know what kind of a budget level you're at. Everything. Let us know what kind of a ship you're looking for, what kind of build you're after. We'll hook you up and help you get something that works for you. If you feel that your gear is where it needs to be and you're concerned, well, maybe if I just get a little bit extra out of my piloting, feel free to submit a video to us and everything, a brief little clip showing us where your piloting is at, everything, what you're doing, and we'll help you improve from there.
Yep. And if you want to know where to go to get that to us, one of the best spots to do that is on our website, actually. Just to get you guys out there. It's pilotreviewshow.com. Make sure to go out there and make use out of it. That's what it's there for, is to be able to allow you to submit in and see different things going on with our show.
Indeed. But,
Yep. And also, it is important to note that next week, December 23rd, we will not be having a pilot review show.
Oh, come on.
We will put that out on Twitter.
What did you...
We
what are you thinking here?
decided.
It's not like
Hey,
it's Christmas
you know,
or anything.
we need off for Christmas too. Actually,
Yeah.
my family is doing their gift exchange and whatnot on the 23rd, and let me tell you, we got a big family. We're starting
Yeah.
at 2 in the afternoon, and we're doing a full meal plus gift exchange for about 35 people.
Oh, wow. Well,
So, yeah.
Sounds just
I
better.
expect you to be on here. I expect you to be doing the show. I
We
expect you to...
might, so I might not even
No,
be back
actually,
home by the time.
Everyone, I hope everyone has a good holiday season, whatever it is you celebrate. Seriously, when it comes
Yep.
right down to it, we've got a lot going on here, a lot that I want to get going here, and we'll be back after the new year, basically.
yep.
So
Yes.
we'll see when that comes.
Yep.
And I want to
And-
start showing up more. My New Year
So
resolution.
enjoy your Christmas.
Oh, lordy. That's his New Year's resolution. But,
Oh,
lastly, folks, if you do have any bugs that you've ran across and everything,
Come
feel
tell
free
Chris.
to... Yeah, pretty much. Feel free to, like I say, let me know, either through YouTube, if you've got my YouTube, let one of these guys know. They'll be sure to pass it along to me, or if you know our @ tags in game, feel free to just say, hey, can you pass this bug along? And we'll do that and everything. If you've got video, if you've got screenshots, that's even better. Everything. If you have topics you'd like to see for the RP Corner, or also Teacher's Corner, feel free to let them know. They do take requests on that. But,
Yep.
anyways, that's our show for this evening. We hope you guys do have a very Merry Christmas, or whichever holiday you choose to celebrate. But, like I said, we won't be having a show this next week, but we do hope everybody has a very safe holiday season. enjoy spending time with family and everything. But for now, folks, this is the Pilot Review Show, and we are beaming on out of here.
Take care, everyone. Have a happy holidays. See ya.